Long before the first rays of dawn broke over the sleepy town of Cedarville, Jenna Collins was already wide awake. Her internal clock, honed by years of managing early morning shifts at the local diner, rarely failed her. At 38, Jenna hadn't expected her life to include raising someone else's child, but fate had its own plans. Stepping onto the porch, she carefully watered her plants, her thoughts drifting to the complex tapestry of her life. "Alex, it's time to wake up," Jenna called gently toward the stairs. Her voice was soft, tinged with the habitual warmth she'd grown to offer freely. From upstairs came a muffled reply and the sound of bedsheets rustling. 14-year-old Alex Carter wasn't exactly a morning person, but for Jenna, he always made an effort. Moments later, he trudged downstairs, hair tousled and eyes barely open. "Morning, Jenna," he greeted sleepily, his voice still deepening into maturity. "Morning, sweetheart," she smiled softly. "I made your favorite today, blueberry pancakes." A genuine grin broke across Alex's face, instantly erasing his sleepy irritation. As he helped set the table, Jenna watched him quietly, her heart tightening slightly. He'd grown tall recently, his shoulders broadening noticeably. Every time he smiled, Jenna saw echoes of his late father, Michael, her husband of 5 years, who'd passed away suddenly in a tragic accident just 3 years ago. When Jenna had first married Michael, becoming a stepmother to Alex, she had approached it cautiously, unsure how the young boy would accept her. Alex had been 4 when his biological mother, Emily, abruptly left without explanation. Michael, struggling as a single parent, found in Jenna a partner and companion, someone ready to help rebuild the fragments of a family torn apart. Yet Jenna never expected Michael would leave them both behind so soon, pushing her into the unexpected role of Alex's primary caregiver. It was a role she never anticipated, one she doubted her ability to fulfill, yet couldn't abandon. In the initial months following Michael's death, nights had been especially difficult. Alex would cry quietly in his room, aching for both parents, one who chose to leave, and one tragically taken. Jenna would sit by his bed, unsure what to say, her own grief heavy and overwhelming. She'd hold his hand in silence, each offering the other unspoken solace. Over time, they formed their unique bond, fragile at first, but steadily growing stronger. Alex discovered his love for music during this tumultuous period. Singing became his refuge, a comfort he first shared only with Jenna. She'd encourage him gently, amazed at the depth of emotion in his voice, despite his youth. His music resonated deeply, reflecting his sorrow and hope, connecting instantly with anyone who heard it. Word of Alex's talent soon spread through Cedarville, with townspeople affectionately calling him their singing prodigy. Jenna saw music not only as Alex's passion but his pathway through pain, a way for him to express feelings words often failed to capture. Cedarville's annual Fall Festival brought the community together each October. This year, anticipation buzzed around Alex's performance. Jenna stood quietly near the stage, her heart racing as Alex stepped confidently before the audience. When he began to sing, a hush fell across the crowd. His voice, clear, powerful, filled with poignant emotion, captured every heart. After the applause died down, a man approached them, introducing himself as Daniel Foster, a talent scout from Nashville's renowned music reality show, Country Star Search. "Alex," Daniel said warmly, shaking his hand, "I've seen hundreds of young singers, but you're exceptional. Have you considered auditioning for our show?" Alex turned instinctively toward Jenna, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "What do you think? Should I go for it?" Jenna hesitated briefly, a protective instinct flaring within her. She knew fame often carried burdens, ones she desperately wished to shield him from. But seeing the earnest hope in his eyes, she softened. Yes, Alex, she said softly, her voice filled with quiet determination. You deserve this chance. Alex smiled gratefully, excitement dancing in his eyes. Neither of them knew yet how dramatically their lives were about to change, or how the shadows of the past were quietly preparing to resurface. The day Alex received the official invitation to audition for Country Star Search, Jenna felt both pride and anxiety intertwining within her chest. She carefully hid her apprehension beneath encouraging smiles and steady assurances, mindful not to dampen Alex's excitement. Alex's eyes shone brighter with each passing day, his dreams expanding beyond the confines of their quiet life in Cedarville. Every evening, Jenna listened attentively as he rehearsed, marveling at the maturity and raw sincerity in his singing. Though she tried to remain hopeful, Jenna quietly worried about the pressures and disappointments that might await him. One chilly autumn afternoon, just days before Alex's audition, Jenna was preparing dinner when a sharp knock at the door startled her. She dried her hands hastily, wondering who could be visiting so unexpectedly. Opening the door, her heart lurched uncomfortably as her eyes met those of Emily Carter, Alex's biological mother, standing awkwardly on the porch. Emily. Jenna's voice came out softer than intended, a faint tremor betraying her surprise. It had been nearly a decade since Emily had vanished without explanation, leaving behind a confused little boy and an equally shattered husband. "Hello, Jenna," Emily responded cautiously, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "It's been a very long time." Jenna's initial instinct was to slam the door shut, shielding Alex from potential hurt. But she held back, steadying herself with an uneasy breath. "What brings you here after all these years?" Emily hesitated, glancing past Jenna into the warmth of the home she once knew. "I saw Alex on the news. I heard about his audition for Country Star Search. He's grown so much," she said softly, emotion slipping subtly into her voice. Jenna felt a wave of protective anger rise. "Yes, he has. Thanks to no help from you." Emily visibly winced but held Jenna's gaze, determination rising in her expression. "I understand your anger, Jenna, but he's my son, too. I have a right to see him." Jenna's jaw tightened, her voice quiet yet firm. "Rights? You abandoned those rights when you left him at 4 without even a goodbye." Before Emily could reply, footsteps echoed behind Jenna. Turning slightly, Jenna's heart sank at seeing Alex, eyes wide with confusion and disbelief, staring at the woman who'd left an empty space in his childhood. "Mom?" Alex's voice cracked, hesitant and full of questions. Emily's eyes filled instantly with tears. "Alex," she whispered gently, stepping forward hesitantly. "You've become such a fine young man." Alex shifted uncomfortably, visibly torn between curiosity, resentment, and uncertainty. He looked toward Jenna for guidance, a silent plea in his eyes. Jenna, swallowing her own distress, nodded gently, conveying permission for Alex to decide his next step. "Would you like to come in?" Alex asked cautiously, glancing back at Jenna as he spoke. Emily's gratitude was palpable. "I'd love to." Inside, a tense silence settled over them as Jenna busied herself nervously in the kitchen. Alex and Emily sat awkwardly across from each other at the dining table, their conversations strained with politeness and cautious inquiries. Jenna occasionally caught snippets of their words, Emily apologizing, Alex asking hesitant yet pointed questions. "Why now?" Jenna heard Alex ask quietly, his voice carrying a subtle challenge. "Did you come back because I'm going to be famous?" Emily's response was quiet, sincere, and remorseful. "I came because seeing you reminded me of what I'd missed. Fame or not, I finally had to face the biggest mistake of my life." Hours later, after Emily left promising to return, Alex was quieter than usual. Jenna approached carefully, sensing his turmoil. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Are you okay, Alex?" He didn't respond immediately, his eyes focused on the floor. "Do you think she's telling the truth?" Jenna sighed softly, kneeling beside him. "I don't know, sweetheart. But whatever happens, I'll be here with you. You don't have to go through this alone." Alex finally looked up, a mixture of relief and lingering confusion in his eyes.
"Thank you, Jenna.
You've always been here, even when you didn't have to be." Jenna smiled warmly, masking her own pain and insecurity. "I chose to be here. You're my family, Alex. Nothing can change that." As they embraced gently, neither could fully shake the lingering unease of Emily's sudden return, unaware of the complexities and emotional storms the audition would soon intensify. The morning of Alex's audition dawned crisp and clear, a vibrant autumn day contrasting starkly with the restless anxiety Jenna felt inside. They drove together toward Nashville, the silence between them more comforting than words. Jenna frequently glanced at Alex, noting how his fingers tapped rhythmically against his thigh, a nervous habit he shared with his late father. "Are you nervous?" Jenna finally asked softly, breaking their comfortable quiet. Alex sighed, looking out at the passing countryside. "A little, mostly excited. It feels like something big is happening." "It is." Jenna smiled reassuringly. "No matter what, just remember that being yourself is enough." They arrived at the studio, where dozens of hopeful contestants buzzed around anxiously. Jenna felt a pang of protectiveness seeing the mix of excitement and stress on Alex's face. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, guiding him toward the registration table, where the bustling atmosphere instantly engulfed them. After a brief registration, Alex was whisked away for preparation. Jenna lingered in the waiting area, heart pounding with anticipation and worry. She'd never fully admitted to herself how much of her own dreams were intertwined with Alex's happiness and success. Finally, Alex's name was called, and Jenna watched through monitors backstage as he stepped onto the brightly lit stage. Her breath caught as she saw his initial nervousness melt away, replaced by a serene confidence she rarely saw off stage. When Alex began to sing, a hush descended over the audience, an immediate recognition of something truly extraordinary happening. Jenna felt tears prick at her eyes, overwhelmed by pride and the bittersweet realization that Alex had matured beyond his years, shaped profoundly by their shared grief and mutual dependence. After his audition, judges showered Alex with enthusiastic praise, instantly securing his place in the next round. Jenna greeted him backstage with open arms, their embrace full of unspoken gratitude and shared exhilaration. "I knew you could do it," she whispered, holding him tightly. Alex smiled widely, visibly moved. "I couldn't have done it without you, Jenna." Their joy, however, was short-lived. Just as they prepared to leave, Jenna noticed Emily waiting nervously in the hallway outside the dressing rooms. Jenna's heart tightened as Alex's mother stepped forward. "Alex, you were incredible," Emily said, her voice gentle yet uncertain. Alex's smile faded slightly, replaced with cautious politeness. "Thank you for coming." "I wouldn't have missed it," Emily continued softly, stepping closer, eyes pleading. "Alex, I was hoping we could spend more time together. I want to get to know you again, if you'll let me." Alex hesitated, clearly conflicted. He glanced uncertainly at Jenna, silently asking for guidance. Jenna felt torn, recognizing Alex's right to reconnect yet fearful of the emotional toll it might take. "It's your choice, Alex," Jenna finally said softly, masking her discomfort with supportive warmth. Alex nodded slowly, turning back to Emily. "Maybe we could meet for dinner sometime?" Emily visibly relaxed, her face brightening slightly. "I'd love that." The drive home felt subdued compared to their earlier optimism. Jenna glanced frequently at Alex, who sat quietly, clearly processing his complicated feelings. "You're okay?" Jenna eventually asked, breaking their silence gently. Alex sighed deeply, shaking his head slightly. "I don't know, Jenna. I want to know her, but every time I see her, it hurts." Jenna reached out, gently touching his arm. "Whatever you decide, I'll be right here with you. We'll face it together." Alex looked up, gratitude softening his features. "I don't know what I'd do without you, Jenna." Jenna smiled softly, fighting back tears of her own. "You won't ever have to find out." Yet, despite her words of comfort, Jenna couldn't shake the unsettling sense that Emily's return had irrevocably shifted their delicate balance, ushering in uncertainties neither she nor Alex were prepared for. Days passed swiftly, blending into weeks as Alex continued to advance through the intense rounds of country star search. Jenna watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation, recognizing the toll the competition was gradually taking on him. Late nights rehearsing, early mornings filled with anxious anticipation, and the growing pressure of public scrutiny were visible in his eyes, even as he reassured Jenna he was fine. Yet, Jenna's concern was magnified by Emily's increasingly frequent presence. Although Alex had agreed to spend time with his mother, Jenna couldn't help but notice his lingering hesitance. Each interaction left Alex thoughtful, withdrawn, occasionally troubled. Jenna desperately wished to shield him from more pain but recognized he needed space to navigate his feelings. One evening after dinner, Alex lingered in the kitchen, unusually quiet. Jenna watched him closely as he stared blankly into his half-eaten dinner. Finally, she spoke gently. "Alex, talk to me. What's on your mind?" Alex hesitated, fidgeting nervously with his fork. "Emily wants me to move to Los Angeles with her," he admitted quietly, eyes avoiding Jenna's. Jenna felt her heart drop, an icy knot forming in her chest. She took a steadying breath, fighting to keep her voice calm and supportive. "Is that something you want?" He sighed deeply, shaking his head slowly. "I don't know. Part of me wonders if it would be good for my career, but I can't imagine leaving you behind." Jenna reached across the table, gently clasping his hand. "Alex, your happiness is all I want. But remember, your choice should be about you, not anyone else." Alex finally looked up, his eyes glistening with tears he stubbornly fought back. "She says she's changed, but I don't know if I can trust her." Jenna squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Trust your instincts. And no matter what you decide, you will always have a home with me. That will never change." Later that night, unable to sleep, Jenna paced quietly around their small living room, her thoughts swirling chaotically. The possibility of losing Alex to Emily, especially now, after years of building trust, connection, and a sense of family, felt overwhelming. The fears she'd pushed aside for so long resurfaced sharply, the old wound of loss reopened. The following morning, Jenna's worries intensified when she found Emily waiting outside their house. Her polished appearance and confident stance gave Jenna a sense of unease. "We need to talk," Emily said firmly, not waiting for an invitation. Jenna sighed, stepping aside reluctantly to let her in. They sat across from each other, tension thickening the air. "Alex told me about your offer." Jenna began evenly, trying to mask her inner turmoil. "Why now, Emily? Why after all these years?" Emily hesitated, genuine vulnerability briefly surfacing in her expression. "I messed up, Jenna. I was young, selfish, and scared. But seeing Alex succeed made me realize what I missed. I want a chance to be there for him now." Jenna stared at her, searching for sincerity. "He's not just an opportunity, Emily. He's a young man who deserves stability and honesty." Emily nodded slowly, her gaze steady but anxious. "I know. That's why I want to give him more than just financial security. I want to give him the life he deserves." opportunities he might not have here in Cedarville. Anger flared in Jenna briefly, protective and fierce. Money can't buy the years of care, patience, and love he's needed. Do you truly believe relocating him, uprooting him again, is what he needs right now? Emily sighed deeply, her voice softer yet resolute.
He's my son, Jenna.
I need to make up for my mistakes. Jenna met Emily's gaze firmly, her voice calm but resolute. Don't mistake redemption for disruption. Alex's well-being matters more than either of our feelings. A heavy silence hung between them, each woman recognizing the weight of the other's intentions, neither willing to concede. Emily eventually rose to leave, her expression softened but determined. I'll let Alex decide, she stated gently, heading toward the door. Jenna watched her go, heart heavy with apprehension. Later, Jenna lay awake, contemplating everything they had endured together. The grief, struggles, laughter, and endless moments of quiet strength. She knew the decision would ultimately rest with Alex, yet the uncertainty and dread of potentially losing him again consumed her thoughts, unsettling her deeply. In the quiet solitude of the night, Jenna silently vowed she would support Alex through whatever came next, determined to protect him from further pain. Even if it meant confronting the heartbreaking possibility of letting him go. As Emily walked away, Jenna wrapped a protective arm around Alex, feeling his body relax slightly into her. But beneath his calm exterior, Jenna sensed an internal storm brewing. The ongoing tension had begun to wear visibly on Alex, manifesting in subtle changes, withdrawn silences, sleepless nights, and a quiet melancholy that lingered behind his usually bright eyes. The following week, rehearsals for the final round of Country Star Search intensified. Alex immersed himself completely, channeling all his emotional turmoil into his music. Jenna, watching closely from the sidelines, marveled at his resilience, yet her heart ached deeply for the burden he carried. The house felt quieter than usual, the lingering tension of Emily's presence creating an invisible weight. Jenna found herself constantly questioning her approach. Had she done enough? Was she protecting him or holding him back? These thoughts became a constant whisper in her mind, an incessant worry she struggled to silence. One evening, as Jenna sat quietly reviewing bills at the kitchen table, Alex entered, clearly troubled. "Jenna, can we talk?" he asked hesitantly, standing awkwardly near the doorway. "Of course," Jenna replied immediately, setting aside her paperwork to give him her full attention. He moved slowly toward the table, choosing his words carefully. "Emily said that if I moved to LA, I'd have everything I ever wanted. Big opportunities, a real music career, famous producers working with me. But I don't know if I want those things without you there." Jenna took a deep breath, hiding her own fear and hurt behind a calm expression. "Is that what you truly want, Alex? To go with her?" Alex shook his head slowly, frustration clear on his face. "Honestly, I don't know. She keeps making it sound like it's the best thing for me, but when I think about leaving home, it feels wrong." Jenna reached gently across the table, clasping his hand tightly in hers. "Listen, Alex, your talent and your future, they belong entirely to you. But if you feel pressure or guilt, that's not right. Real opportunities won't force you to sacrifice who you truly are or the people who genuinely love you." Alex looked at Jenna with uncertainty, his voice softening. "She says I could regret it if I don't take this chance. What if she's right?" Jenna paused, thoughtfully choosing her words. "Regret comes from making choices that go against who you truly are. You have an amazing talent, Alex, and your dreams matter. But your happiness is just as important. Fame is temporary, but family and love, that's what stays." Alex's eyes filled with vulnerability, the conflict evident. "But she's my mom. Shouldn't that mean something? Shouldn't I try to forgive her?" Forgiveness isn't the same as putting yourself at risk again, Jenna gently reminded him. You can forgive her without sacrificing your own emotional well-being. Alex nodded slowly, visibly relieved yet still conflicted. Thanks, Jenna. I don't know what I'd do without you. Jenna smiled softly, hiding her own fears behind quiet strength. You'll never have to find out, Alex. That evening, after Alex had gone upstairs, Jenna sat quietly in the living room, reflecting deeply on their conversation. She felt a renewed surge of anxiety over Emily's increasing influence. The thought of losing Alex, of seeing him hurt again, overwhelmed her. Yet Jenna knew this was Alex's battle to fight. All she could do was offer unwavering support, praying it would be enough to guide him safely through the storm that Emily's return had unleashed. As she prepared for bed, she silently resolved to stand strong beside Alex, whatever path he chose, determined never to let go without a fight. On the night of the final performance, the atmosphere at the venue buzzed with excitement and nervous anticipation. Jenna stood backstage, heart racing, eyes fixed on Alex as he prepared to take the biggest stage of his young life. She watched him carefully, noting the tension in his shoulders and the determination etched across his features. You've got this, Alex, she whispered gently, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Alex turned, his expression a blend of gratitude and anxiety. I don't know how to thank you, Jenna, for everything. Just sing your heart out, she replied warmly. That's thanks enough. As Alex walked onto the brightly lit stage, applause thundered throughout the auditorium. Jenna watched intently, her heart racing. When Alex began to sing, the audience fell silent, captivated instantly by the raw emotion and profound maturity in his voice. Each note resonated deeply, carrying not just the beauty of music, but the depth of their shared struggles, love, and healing. As the final note faded, the auditorium erupted in thunderous applause. Jenna rose from her seat, tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by pride and relief. For that brief moment, everything felt perfect. Alex had finally shown the world his extraordinary talent, and she knew in her heart they'd overcome tremendous adversity together. Yet, as the celebration died down, Jenna spotted Emily making her way swiftly backstage, determination etched clearly in her expression. Jenna's heart sank, instantly sensing trouble. Moments later, backstage, Emily approached them, determination evident in her eyes. Alex, you were phenomenal, Emily began cautiously. I've arranged meetings with some top producers in LA. They want you to move out there immediately. Your future is limitless. Jenna stiffened, instinctively moving closer to Alex, her heart pounding fiercely in her chest. But Alex surprised them both when he stepped forward, voice calm and steady. Mom, I appreciate everything you're trying to do. Alex began gently, his voice firm yet respectful. But Jenna has been here through everything, through every tough night, every heartbreak, every success. My home isn't in LA. It's wherever Jenna is. Emily's face fell, shock and hurt clearly visible. Alex, please reconsider. You might regret this. Alex shook his head slowly, eyes unwavering.
No, Mom.
Jenna taught me something important. Regret comes when we make choices that aren't true to who we are. Leaving Jenna, leaving home, wouldn't be true to me. Emily's eyes filled briefly with tears, but she nodded slowly, accepting his decision with quiet resignation. I understand. I'm sorry for everything I've missed and for any hurt I've caused. Alex reached out cautiously, gently taking Emily's hand. I forgive you, but I need Jenna and Cedarville. That's my true home. After Emily left, Jenna turned to Alex, overcome by emotion. Are you sure, Alex? You deserve every opportunity. He smiled warmly, his eyes bright and certain. Jenna, you are my greatest opportunity. You're the one who's always been here. They embraced tightly, relief and joy flowing freely between them. Jenna knew in that moment that they'd faced their greatest challenge together, emerging stronger and closer than ever. Several months later, at the National Music Awards, Alex received the highest honor, Best New Artist. Standing confidently at the podium, he looked directly at Jenna, his voice strong yet emotional. "This award belongs to the person who taught me the true meaning of family," he declared proudly. "Thank you, Jenna, for choosing to love me, support me, and guide me. You gave me a home, a family, and a heart full of music." Jenna wiped joyful tears from her eyes, pride and gratitude overwhelming her. In that beautiful moment, amidst applause and flashing cameras, Jenna knew without any doubt that love had triumphed. Together, they'd chosen each other, forming a bond that would remain unbreakable, no matter what life brought their way.